Today's video marks the very first episode in our series about water preparedness. And if you can't tell by the title already, we're going to begin with rainwater collection. It is not illegal anywhere in the United States to collect rainwater, anywhere. Some states or municipalities may have regulations, but nowhere in the United States is it illegal. Colorado is probably the most restrictive state. They only allow you to collect up to 110 gallons at a time, which would be your standard 55-gallon rain barrel, and it's against the law to drink it. Other states like Carolinas, Texas, the Dakotas, Ohio have zero regulations, so you can collect 10,000 gallons on your property if you wanted to. Rainwater collection is one of the easiest ways to build redundancy within your water plan. But remember, you can't rely on just one method. Even here in Appalachia, we go through droughts. Hell, the first year we lived on this property, we only had a rainwater collection system. We didn't have our well yet. So we tried to survive on only what rain fell from the sky and then what we could haul in from our local spring. But that same summer, a drought hit, and it was awful. And we learned really quick that FEMA's 1 gallon per person per day is total bullshit. You need a lot more than that. Our main water collection system starts with a 275-gallon IBC tote. You need to make sure that whatever IBC tote or container that you go with is food grade. You don't want to store your water in something that's going to be constantly leaching chemicals. We grabbed ours off of Facebook Marketplace. I think they ran us about $60 a piece. And so we bought 6 at a time, like all that would fit on our trailer. And so that helped boost us from 0 gallons of storage all the way up to 1,600 gallons. Now, because these were food grade, they were used prior, I guess in a restaurant situation, but they had sunflower oil in them. So we did have to clean them out really, really good when we first got them. So keep that in mind if you go to buy one. They may still have a little bit of residue in it, whatever was in there, which is also why you want food grade, and you have to clean it out before you can set it up to your system. We've got our IBC tote connected directly to the gutters on our covered storage with a simple downspout diverter. This system can be easily recreated off of your home gutters. A screen across the gutters helps keep out large debris like leaves and pine needles. Anything that gets through that is trapped in this leaf eater at the beginning of our system. This is a really awesome product, and it has a screen, a very fine mesh screen that can easily be removed and cleaned. From there, the water flows down into what's called the first flush. This is a section of piping that collects the first bit of rainfall. In theory, any smaller particles from the roof runoff sinks down in here first. As the pipes fills up, a plastic bottle inside rises and plugs this section off. Then the clean water is allowed to flow into the IBC tote. Now you can hook up several of these IBC totes together and up your storage capacity. That's especially a good idea if you live in an area where all the rain comes at once. Now this water can still be used outside of an emergency situation. You can use it for watering your garden, washing your car, or even hook it up to an outdoor shower. I just wouldn't recommend drinking it until you filtered it first. For pumping the water out of the IBC tote, we picked up this simple hose pipe adapter off of Amazon. I created an Amazon list with any products we've used, and it'll be down in the description. We started out with this cheap 12-volt pump from Harbor Freight, and it did the job, but I eventually purchased one of these 120-volt pumps from Amazon. This thing is great, but it does take 120 volts, so you have to make sure that you have like a Jackery or an EcoFlow that you can use if your rainwater is not near a power source. I found that the 120 volt was a lot quicker than just the 12 volt from Harbor Freight. Both did their jobs. We keep both of them still around, but I much prefer that 120 volt to make everything a lot faster. We also have a smaller 55-gallon barrel next to the camper. It doesn't have any filtration on it other than a screen on top, so we mainly use this water just for watering around the side of the property, but it's another option to consider if you don't have a way or the space to use IBC tote. One thing you may have noticed about both systems is they're both fixed to keep out sunlight. Since the IBC totes are opaque, we went with blackout covers that I also picked up off of Amazon. Sunlight encourages bacteria and algae growth, which you want to avoid as best you can. Covers also help insulate it during the winter. We got down to about 15 degrees last winter, and the hose pipes froze, the tanks in the camper froze, but the water in the IBC totes never did. To me, rainwater collection is the best way to build a rotating water storage within your prep systems. Once you get past that original investment, it's like a free source of water that replenishes itself every time it rains. But like I said in the beginning, there's still some cons, like if a drought occurs, so you want to make sure that that's just one piece of the puzzle. Another piece of that puzzle would be knowing how to locate good water sources around your area. So in our next video, I'm going to take you to the spring and I'm going to show you alternate sources of water that may be in your area, including if you get stuck in the city during SHTF. So if you haven't already, hit that like and follow button, and we'll see y'all later.